Today's talk is not able to tell you exactly. The summary will come at the end. But we're going to start off by remembering why people say they came to planet Earth. Most people don't know. They don't know. It's just they found themselves in a body, and maybe they found themselves sort of self-aware at a certain young age. And, you know, over time, you just seem to be here every time you wake up in your little bed. Other people, these people who apparently know, as they talk to angels and things, they say, well, the way it works on planet Earth is before you incarnate on planet Earth, you plan out what your whole life is. Some people say every last step that you take is planned by you before you come. Other people say, oh, it's maybe like, you know who your parents are going to be, and you know where they're going to be living. And you probably get a good idea of the first 13 years of your life, and then beyond that, we don't know. But, some people say it's all you, and while you're here, it's all your vibration that determines your success, and that's why people are always blamed, Well, it's just that's the way it is. Somebody who's living high on the hog and they're, the richest person in town, it's because their vibration brings it to them. Law of vibration is if you're rich, it's because you're vibrating rich. And I keep hearing this from people who are poverty-stricken. I'm a great spiritual teacher because I know all about this law of vibration, and, I manifest all kinds of things. I had one guy who was teaching this law of vibration, and he said, I'm a great manifester, if I want to get a trick, that's somebody to go and, play around with. I just go on Grindr, which is, where you can go and look up somebody who's interested in playing with somebody else. Yeah, I can just go on there, and lo and behold, within about 40 minutes, there's somebody who shows up at my door, and they're good to go. Aren't I a good manifester? And, you can sign up for my courses to learn all about the law of vibration. I'm serious. This is what people tell me. This is what they put out videos and they say this is, like seriously, I'm a master teacher. And where do I live? Well, I've managed to manifest myself out of the house for a little while when I was 19, but I'm back living in my parents' garage now that I'm 26. But I'll teach you how to do all this law of vibration stuff because it's going so well for me. No. This law of vibration thing does not work on this planet. It's foreign to this planet. It doesn't work. It's a bunch of lies, and the thing that happens among people who are living in this kind of world is I gotta make some money, and if I can pick up a book at the used bookstore that talks about the law of vibration, then I'm going to open up a business, and I'm going to teach what I learned in this book. And there's always going to be someone who doesn't like to read, who would rather take a course from me because they don't like to read, and someone recommended they learn this secret or something on how to manifest yourself. And, why do I get so down on these people? It's because it doesn't work. Buddy, you used an app to get somebody to show up at your house. You call that manifestation? I call you an idiot. Somebody who doesn't know, never even heard about the law of vibration can use Grindr to go and order up somebody to come to their house. But you're going to call it something else because you're a woo-woo new age idiot. There's all kinds of people who are on this bandwagon. All kinds of people. Somehow change your thoughts, change your thinking, and your life will change. No, it doesn't. It's not going to change because this metaphysical teaching is all about ego. In other words, you can go to a New Thought course taught by Unity or Science of Mind or some other New Age manifestation guru. And I remember my old teacher from this New Thought thing. She kept saying, what I really deserve is a Jaguar car. And she drove around in about a 20-year-old Chevy. Why didn't she manifest her Jaguar? She didn't. She called her place a healing church. A place to come to heal. Well, what happened? I don't know. Did people heal? Nobody I saw. Why do people go to these things? Well, it's just like a traditional church, You can go and say a million Hail Marys, but, it doesn't change your life. Why doesn't it? Because it doesn't. It doesn't change it. It's all a pile of... You're just not doing it right. You need to listen to Abraham Hicks 12 more times. You didn't get it right. You haven't found that vortex of manifestation. It's all this bullshit, and these people have been teaching the same shit for decades, 100 years of this New Thought shit, and they're still calling it new. It's not new, it's old, and it doesn't work. But somebody's going to tell you it's new, and that you're just not thinking properly. And if you just try it, just try it. Fake it until you make it. These kind of New Thought people say, fake it until you make it. In other words, things are going shitty for you, just turn that frown upside down and smile and say, everything's wonderful. And you can lie to people all day long, but you really can't lie to yourself. Once the people disappear from you and you're at home in your bedroom wondering, if you got enough money to make the rent next month, then you might get a bit more like, fuck, I faked it till I made it. And I made it through this day, but seriously, I still don't have the rent for tomorrow. These people are all going to tell you, you have got a lot of old programming, old tapes that are running in your mind, and they're poverty tapes. And you learned how to be a poverty person because in past lives you were Catholic and you were a monk or a nun. And you had taken these vows of protection from Jesus. And part of the protection from Jesus is you're going to have to prove that you're being protected by Jesus, and you're going to have to say, I take a vow of perpetual poverty. And these New Thought people say, those tapes from past lives are still playing. And you're going to be a monk or a nun until you can get at those tapes and rip them out. They've always got good reasons why what they're teaching doesn't work. On one hand, they tell you all you got to do is the simple thing. You got to say, me and the divinity are one. You've got to have unity, you see. You and all that is. You got to say it a bunch of times. A spiritual mind treatment, it's called. And what are you doing? You're doing nothing but lying to yourself. They'll tell you all about the subconscious mind, how stupid your subconscious mind is. These New Thought people, they got it all figured out. It was written by, Judge Thomas Troward back in the 1800s, who was a judge in India. Judge Troward figured it all out. Your subconscious mind is very stupid. It doesn't understand the word not. It doesn't, and it can't do inductive reasoning. It can only do deductive reasoning, and all you got to do is impress what you want properly on your subconscious mind, and lo and behold, Everything you're seeing here is what the New Thought people will call subconscious mind. What? Yeah, that's what they call subconscious mind. All of this stuff here, it's subconscious mind. And if you can figure out how to do the right magic, the spiritual mind treatment, you will find that this subconscious mind will bend to your will. And if you want to have a Jaguar car, lo and behold, it's going to drive itself up your driveway and deliver its keys into your hand. Just like that. There's really no need for you to pay for it. The universe will figure out how it's going to come to you. And this balderdash is promoted over and over and over again by those dying people. Why are they dying? Well, it's because, you can fool all the people some of the time. You can fool some of the people all the time. But you can't feel like all the people all the time are going to buy into this bullshit. Because they tried it out. Why? Well, because you don't know nothing on planet Earth. You're born stupid. And anything you're going to get on planet Earth is going to come because somebody either told you about it, showed you, or you read it in a book, or you watched it in a movie. And that's basically what happens with all of these people. They're living in a movie. And despite the fact that this old teacher of science of mind is now driving probably a 40-year-old Chevy, because she never got any money and she never got her Jaguar, she's still teaching this stuff. Oh, by the way, and she calls herself a reverend, as if somehow, she's a priest and something, and she's special or something. Well, that's what happens when you're involved with these kind of things. You always have to have a certain amount of prestige, and I just can't be Joe Smith. I've got to be the Reverend Joe Smith, because it's more likely to get people to believe the bullshit that I say. Everyone knows that, when the Reverend gets up, everyone bows their head and says grace. The reason why we're talking to you, and I did promise you a summary, the reason why we're talking to you about all of this stuff again and again is because again and again I keep seeing people spout these lies. Whether it's in a meme or it's in a comment somewhere. And it's very disempowering because, long-time person who's been seeing this shit that actually did give it a good college try. Stupid as it might seem, it's simply fine. I'm going to put all my logic aside because, I really don't know. I don't. I mean, you're presenting this stuff and, rather than say no to everything, clearly some things work. You turn the key in that old Chevy and somehow it managed to turn over and gets you to the church on time. So I'm not going to go and just say no. I'm going to try these things out. And then I'm going to report to the world what I found out. Because, that's what I do. I try things out and I report to the world. And I tried this shit out and it don't work. All it does is it promotes magical thinking. Does magical thinking work on planet Earth? No. What works on planet Earth? Pretty much. The best idea is find somebody who's rich and marry them. Marrying rich is the best way to improve your economic life. Best way. Somebody else might say, well, you could become like... No. Anybody, regardless of how smart or dumb they are, can marry rich. And that will bring your standard of living up. It's not magic. It's simply they got money and you just hooked yourself up with them till the day you die or something. It's the smartest way to improve your economic status on planet Earth. But the people at Science of Mind never are going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, keep faking it until you make it. And all the rest of these people out there that are supposedly talking with angels or extraterrestrials or wherever the fuck they're getting their information from, I keep telling them, if you're hearing voices, they're demons. Because this planet is a hell world. And I talked previously about why it's a hell world, because the calibrated level of consciousness of all of the humans put together is really low on the scale of human consciousness. Ergo, this planet is hell. The people are hellions. And how did you get here? Well, not too many people are really going to be able to tell you the truth. The truth is, if anybody says they know because they can remember, well, are you going to call them a liar? I'm just going to go with what I remember previous to this life. Sweet fuck all. And I'm going to remember a number of times people talked to me via telepathy and sent me all kinds of information about my past lives, and it was a pile of lies. A pile of lies. So, people that say they're talking to somebody from the Pleiades or Arcturus or Andromeda or wherever, these beautiful extraterrestrials, I'm terribly sorry, these are not extraterrestrials, these are demonics. And they love to play these games with you, and they might even have you sick as a dog with ascension symptoms. Sick as a dog. Not really, it's a kind of a dumb thing to say sick as a dog, because you don't really see dogs sick. It's an old term, I don't know where it came from. But these people are all suffering horrible, what they call ascension symptoms. Ringing in the ears, migraine headaches, aches and pains in the muscles and bones, intense fatigue, and I say, if you're suffering from all of this stuff and you're feeling sick to your stomach and you can't sleep and you're woken up by voices in the middle of the morning, I'm going to say you're under demonic attack. You're a targeted person and the demons are attacking you. And, these same people go on, it's all love, baby. It's all love. I'm getting all these downloads and, all these things are happening to me. It's all for the best because it's Earth Ascension, which means you're going to the fifth dimension from the third dimension. And if you listen to that old song by the fifth dimension called The Age of Aquarius, you'll come to understand what we're doing here on planet Earth. And even though I'm beat up and I can barely get out of bed because I'm so sick, I'm still going to say this is a sign of something good. And, you can brainwash yourself over and over again with these ascension symptoms. But, if you got these same symptoms from something else, you had some bad chicken or something and, you were sick to your stomach, you're going to say, that was bad chicken that made me sick. You're not going to say, this was a great blessing. I got horrible diarrhea, horrible gas pains from this rotten chicken. No one's going to say that, except if you're one of these Looney Tunes that are going on about how, you're changing density or you're somehow processing all of this density. That's what you keep hearing, is like there's all kinds of alchemical changes in the density. It's like I'm looking around, I don't see no density here. I don't see no density. But that's what they call it because somebody had an extraterrestrial demon talk to them, somebody named Ra, who was presenting this law of one thing as being what the extraterrestrials believe in. It's their religion. It doesn't do nothing. It's a bunch of mind bait to get you involved in believing that being sick is a good thing. How many years have you been doing ascension symptoms? Where's your fifth dimensional reality? Where's the age of Aquarian? It keeps coming. I keep hearing, it was 2012 and it was going to be the end of the Mayan calendar and it was going to usher in, what's the opposite of the Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga is when everybody is fucked and we're going to change every 26,000 years because every 26,000 years there's a precession of it's all of this bullshit, It's not really pseudoscience. I mean, it's really true. There really is a tilt on the planet, and there really is a precession of the equinoxes. But to say somehow that the precession starts 2012 years ago, in the year 2012, that's when it started or something, and it's this particular spot in space that we, after 26,000 years, we end up at the same spot. No, we don't. We don't. You just have to look up, what the basic science, the scientists keep saying is that, the whole star, SOL, that's the name of our star, Sol, the solar system, otherwise known as the sun is traveling through space. It's not fixed in one spot. It is traveling all the time. And the planets are circling the sun. So the sun's going this way, and the planets are going this way, but we're all going in this direction. So after 26,000 years, we're still going in this direction. We're not looping back. Why is it that, we've seen the same stars as we're looping back? I don't know. Does it make sense that, after 26,000 years, you start seeing this constellation again? If the star is moving through space, someone's lying. Either our star is fixed, and all these other constellations are fixed, which is the old way they used to talk about it, or the new way, the star is moving through space, and all the constellations are moving through space at an equivalent thing? No, they're not. No, they're not. Can't be. So who's telling the truth? I don't have a big telescope in my backyard. I can't tell you. All I know is that someone is lying. Someone is lying, and how are you going to figure out who's lying? Just say they're all lying. It's better to assume everyone's lying and start out fresh every day with, what's the basic truth? I got bad breath, and I can use Colgate and it'll make it go away. Go with your basic truths, and all of this other stuff that you cannot personally prove. You cannot prove relativity that Albert Einstein came up with, and it's not true. You can't prove it, it's not true. Someone says, what about your smartphone? My smartphone, I turn it on, it works. I don't understand how it works. All the technology, it works, but what am I supposed to do? Get an engineering degree because, I turn on my phone? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It does work, but I'm not going to go and say, that all of this stuff is true, because somebody could be bullshitting me. It's a Motorola chip that's in my Android phone. I don't know. Difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world. You turn it on, you expect it to work. I'm going to send it back to Motorola. Motorola's going to say, no, it's not a Motorola chip. What's the point of it all? Is that you just go on so many assumptions. You go with so many assumptions in your life. And what is true? It's just an assumption.